good evening from Uyo, Nigeria. My name is Ediong Sengenendunobong, and this is EAN TV. Of course, you know that there's a series we're currently running, and we call it Society Watch. And if you are in Nigeria, and of course anywhere in the world, you would know that Nigeria is in a critical phase of its existence as a country. And of course, in a couple of days from now, we'll be going to the poll to vote for. Uh, Leaders in different capacities, beginning from the presidential election, and then we have the House of Reps, and then the Senate, and the federal parliament, how you want to put it. And but then something is happening, and we're looking forward to having a change in narrative in Nigeria, and the young people are all over the place, and and some people from in different quarters are tagging them to be social media people that will not have so much impact on ground. And then we have till Saturday for the youth to prove their worth. So let's get to see if they will match their social media action to real-time action on ground, and then we see what that will happen. And we pray that we have a peaceful election come Saturday in Nigeria. About the last time we had this program on Society, what I had brought in a guest, Mr. Steve Nabu, who shared his thought on the civic responsibility of the church, and because today I get to relate something, because the church, some people feel they cannot be equally, equally yoked with unbelievers, just like the scripture says, and they bring it down to it's their civic responsibility that they don't want to take part in election or the electioneering processes. And with this, it will be leading to what we're about to discuss today. Today on the program, it will be discussing about strategies on how we could avoid or see how we could discourage voter apathy. And I wouldn't be the one to talk about this. I have a guest today, and he's a fantastic human being, and then someone that from the very first that I came in contact with him, he's been quite contagious, and it's someone you should be looking forward to. Let me bring him up screen, and then afterwards I will get to see if I can talk more briefly about him. His name is Mr. Kevin. Kevin, yeah, and then Kevin is the bureau director. Oh, I'm trying to bring him on. Please pardon my device. I will do my best. Okay, so Kevin is back. So his name is Kevin. Kevin is from Kogi State, but I would like to just make it a very brief or a brief version of his bio, because his bio is actually very long. So Kevin Koje, if I get it right, is from Kogi State, and in 2019. So Kevin actually contested election to represent Kogi, Kogi East as a senator. And of course, they're not too young to run, and Kevin had to, take advantage of that. Though that did not pan out well for as he expected, but I know that must have, give him a lot of leverage to understand the electionary system and how it will work. And if Kevin should give a shot again this time around, perhaps, I don't know why he didn't go for it again this time. It would have been something very shocking to a lot of people. Kevin is a member of board of trustees of the Electoral College Nigeria. And of course, Electoral College Nigeria, when I happen to, come in contact with that body, it's somewhat I would recommend that every young person, even if you're old, you should go there and learn a whole lot about Nigerian election, politics, even some global politics as well. And then he is the bureau chief of SDG Radio Nigeria, and he's a social analyst, a security commentator, and a climate reality leader. Ladies and gentlemen, the person, and of course the man that will be talking to us today on strategic measures to discourage voter apathy is none other than Mr. Kevin Akoje. Mr. Kevin, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Edgar.
Yeah, Mr. Kevin is joining us from Lokoja. And so how is Lokoja today? And how is the cash crunch over there in Lokoja?
Okay, the cash crunch is everywhere. We're all looking for funds to survive and to move around, because whether we like it or not in Nigeria, we cannot do without cash. And then the political season is hiding, the presidential and national assembly elections are up in a few days, and then also our gubernatorial election will be later this year, and so it's now open for purchase of forms for individuals that want to run for governorship in Kogi State. So right now, the entire environment is heated with persons submitting their expression of interest forms in their parties, and then for those already on the ballots for Saturday, they are all doing their finishing touches, crossing the I's and dotting the T's. So
Of course.
the environment is started. Yes.
As expected, though, before we hit the ball rolling on the subject matter of the day, you're talking about the cash crunch that people need cash at hand. And I remember in Nigeria here not quite long ago, ASU went on strike for about 8 months, and medical doctors have been going on strike, and even in some states, like your state, I know some workers do not get their salary, and even in my state here, where I operate from Akwa Ibom, there's been complaint of gratuities and stuff. And then for the first time in the past 8 years, that governors will protest, even take the federal government to court with regards to this financial policy. So, what's your take on that? On a lighter note.
Okay, on a lighter note, my governor is also part of the people that are in the suit.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
His Excellency the President also regards that. So I would say it's a case in court, so I'll make no comments.
That's quite smart of you. Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Kevin, let's get to hit the ball rolling. Of course, today you'll be sharing your thoughts and of course, I remember something about it, that you were also a security commentator, and then so today you'll be sharing your thought on strategies on how we could avoid see how we could discourage or avoid voter apathy. And of course, I think in 3 days time we will be heading to, I think 2 days already, we'll be heading to the presidential and of course National Assembly polls. First, let's get into defining the subject matter, because some people may not get to know exactly what voter apathy is. So can you just share your thought on that?
Okay, so voter apathy can be viewed from 2 different states. One is psychological state, wherein an individual puts himself in the position not to allow his or herself feel a sense of responsibility to her civic duty. That's one. And then okay. 2, a direct action of individuals not wanting to express their fundamental civic and democratic rights, as the case may be. But in particular definition, voter apathy only applies to individuals that are over 18 years of age. And so anybody that is less than 18, you don't have the right to vote either, as the Constitution says. So you are not in that particular age grade with regards to the usage of the adjective voter apathy, because you need to be able to vote for you to be called the voter, and then for you to have apathy or disregard with regards to an issue or a concept, it means you are a direct actor in that particular action. And so our discussion today will be referring to individuals from the age of 18 and above. And not just 18 and above, 18 and above who have their voters card and are eligible to vote in the coming general elections. And so by voter apathy means someone taking his time not to go and perform that civic duty for whatever reasons known to them. And the reasons range from a whole lot of definitions. Either they did not pick up their voters card, their cards are missing, or in case that they have their voters card but their polling units have been decommissioned because INEC is not going to go to over 240 polling units because of security reasons, and what have you, as will be identified as the days goes by. After all, you know that even on the election day, incident report sheets will be filled to identify any other bottlenecks that will happen. So it's a going concern, I would say. It's not boxed up in a particular pattern with regards to how we'll be able to identify or scrutinize that particular subject matter with regards to voter apathy, as the case may be.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Kevin. Okay, so you've actually see how to get it clear, and of course we have a focus group here. The people that are 18 and not just 18 with their voter card. So let's get to the subject matter. There is something that has been happening in Nigeria, and with this it leads to a lot of complaint, and even as we are days ahead of the general election, some people in different quarters still have to complain, hey, my votes do not count, I will not even go out anywhere. Do votes really count in Nigeria?
Okay, so let's not go into assumptions. Let's stick to basic headlines of the different roles that individuals will play. Whether we like it or not, on 25th of this month, there will be a general election. If there is no general election on the 25th, whichever date is set for that particular action, it will take place. And so let's not worry about whether the day will not happen. Then the next, with regards to votes counting, what are the laid down procedures for your votes to be established first? For your vote to be established, you need to have gone to your polling units, your name is in the voters register, you queue and you cast your votes using the ballot system. And so you pick your ballots, place your fingerprint on the political party of your choice and submit. By virtue of that, the validity of your vote has already started to count. The next process is, upon completion of the voting procedure, we now have the calculation of the votes cast. Before now, you know that we will have to get the votes counted and then move to the next level of collation, and the next level of collation until it gets to state collation point, and then the state president electoral commissioner now announces the result as per the states, all the wards and local government put together. And so for your vote to count, that needs to have happened. But with the present system in place, the Beaver system, which is automated by a mesh network system, we will not have that necessarily being brought to bear. As you are casting your votes, is automatically updated to a server and a collation point electronically. And there, those results will be sieved out and counted for us to know who it is that has won that particular election in that polling unit, who is the one in that ward, the local government, and the state at large with regards to different positions. At least we know that on the Saturday is presidential and national assembly. So votes count. They will always count. But like they always say, the greatest lie that the devil pulled was in telling people that it does not exist. So the biggest lie you tell yourself is telling yourself that your votes won't count. And so you try to avoid the process, which is, in other words, apathy that we are trying to discuss today. So do not delude yourself with those illusions of grandeur or misdemeanor, as the case may be. Present yourself, go and vote, and then let the election management body go ahead with the remaining part of the job. Because everybody in charge and everybody and all stakeholders have their basic duties to play. So you play your own role, go and vote.
Oh man, we are all stakeholders, and of course, the greatest lie we could tell ourselves is the fact that we say votes do not count. Thank you so much. That's a very strong quote there, Mr. Kevin. This is EAN TV, and of course, Society Watch on EAN TV. My name is Idi Ongsengin Ndunoba. I'm having a fantastic time here with Mr. Kevin Akojera, and Kevin is joining us from Lokoja in Kogi State. I must say very thank you to you, Kevin, for sparing your time. Now you've been dissecting this particular issue, and of course you've already tilted to the main discourse of the day, because I needed to just do the icing on the cake, because I know you're a man of depth, and of course when it comes to the issue of electioneering, you are quite knowledgeable on this. So I just need to see how we could enlighten the people on certain issues. So if you're a Nigerian and you were in this country, so long at this point we do not have the law that will allow people to vote outside Nigeria, please, on Saturday, if the date does not shift or the date does not get shifted, so please go out there and cast your vote. Don't lie to yourself that the votes do not count in Nigeria. You heard Mr. Kevin quite well. So, Mr. Kevin, let's hit one of the quite very important subject or word from our team for today. How or what are those strategies you would suggest that we adopt to see that we discourage voter apathy? What are those strategies? What are those you would say we are just barely few days? Something practicable, something we could just adopt and we hit the ground rolling, running rather, so that by Saturday we achieve maximum turnout of voters at that different polling units.
Okay, so firstly, the large point of where voter apathy comes to bear is because of the dearth of information. That's unavailability of information to be consumed by an average voter. And what is that information? That information comes from various sources. First, the government of the day. Second, the election management body. Third, the political parties. Fourth, the candidates up for election. And fifth, the individual himself, that is of universal suffrage, that you have the right to vote. Those are the five basic ingredients with regards to the state of voter apathy in the nation. With regards to government now, we all know that it's the government that would license the day the election will take place. The government has the Federal Ministry of Information. The government has National Orientation Agency and several information touch points on a national level to showcase information about a general election taking place within the confines of our territory, which is in our own case, Nigeria. And so on that level, these institutions or these MDAs need to play their role in putting out information with regards to the election. Date to take place, where to take place, how to get to your polling units, how to take care of yourself when you get to your polling units, all those basic information. Then the election management body, alongside the government, would have sat down and tell not the locations or dates of these elections. We know that for ours, every general election takes place every 4 years. The last one was in 2019. The next general election is now in 2023. And so the next one obviously will be in 2027. So for that, we know a tenure process already exists. Then now is what elections will be taking place at that day. Whether we like it or not, in Nigeria now, as the case may be, is no longer a national election. Some places have particular seats for office staggering from other states. But for the presidential and national assembly, all states are happening at the same time. So that is what we have to deal with for Saturday. And so if the election management body, in our own case, INEC, does not fully publish this information, does not publish the information of individuals who are now candidates on the ballot for Saturday, as the case may be, or do not make it easy for individuals to access that information. Because right now, in honesty and fairness, the election management body, if you go to the website now of INEC, you see the list of fully collated individuals that are up for running for office, up for Saturday, for both the presidential and the national assembly elections. So that information is there. Imagine that the information is not there, and I'm here and I've not known about any candidate. The easiest way for me to seek that information will be to go and check our website. And now they put that information in the middle available. Next is the political parties. We always want to exclude them from the idea of voter apathy. Remember, we do not have independent candidacy in Nigeria.
Of course.
For you to vie for office, you need to come from a political party. So it is not enough for political parties to field candidates and then they don't tell their followers how they should vote or how they should go about canvassing for support for their candidates. Remember, it's a party that is the vehicle to any individual gaining seats or acquiring power, as the case may be, via a democratic process in Nigeria, as sanctioned by the Constitution. And so if those political parties do not take out their time to go out and educate the populace, and not necessarily only their party members. Remember, there are individuals that might not join the party for whatever reason known to them. It does not mean that they will not vote. They obviously have their individual biases for who they want to vote for president, senate, house of rep in their localities, but they are not in the mood or they are not of preference to join a political party. But regardless, it is the duty of the political parties to go out and still sell the information of their parties and their candidature to these people. And so if they don't do that, they are basically selling their own case short. So that's the political parties. The next is the individual as yourself. Even though you do not get to see this information for whatever reason that nature has caused that you did not get to find out, you owe yourself a basic political duty to seek out that information. Luckily for us, we have different means of the information distribution. We have digital mediums, we have local mediums input, personal flyers, town hall meetings, meet and greets. So if you see one taking place, go there and see who the person is. Listen to what he has to offer for your people. Remember, politics is an emancipation of the individuals in a particular policy, in this is the word local government, state, or the nation in general. So if you sit down and you're waiting to be spoon-fed with the information, then you owe yourself a whole lot to blame if you do not play your part well because you claim not to have gotten the information. So that's the entire five-prong approach. Then the one that is seldomly forgotten, I didn't want to count that because that is for individuals that are yet to reach the age of 18, which is the universal right to vote. I love to use the scripture. It says, train a child in the way he will grow, and when he's of age, he will not depart from it. Western democracies, right now, you hear a child telling you, even at the age of 7, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. Why? Because it is a system in which he was born into, and his parents or her parents are faithful to that structure. And so, person says, as for me and my house, we are Democrats all the way. As for me and my house, we are Republicans, regardless of who appears on the ballot. You see, so let me use the indoctrination. The indoctrination has already started from the family unit of analysis.
That's so setting the foundation right.
Yes, so you can even apply those bases right now from our individual units in our houses. It goes a long way to making individuals politically literate, which is what we do in the Electoral College. Our basic premise is political literacy and governance. You can meet someone that has 5 PhDs but has little or no understanding of the political underpinnings or the political information in his or her local government because he or she doesn't care completely. And you can meet someone that doesn't have a single certificate or has not even been to the 4 walls of a school. And when you engage that person, his level of political consciousness will wow you. And you indeed be proud that indeed a couple of persons actually know their onions and they can speak for themselves, they can hit their chest any day, analyze.
That's very true, Mr. K. I noticed your signal is actually getting poor at some point. But Mr. Kevin has been hitting on the nail on the head, and it's quite interesting. This last part of his conversation, I want to believe that the signal will bring him back so that we get to have this. Okay, Mr. K, I'm listening to you. You're fluctuating. Oh, the signal is quite poor, and then I hope he will get back to finish his thought on that. And of course, this is supposed to be a 30-minute run, and I've been having a robust engagement here with Mr. Kevin Akoje of the Bureau Chief of SDG Radio Nigeria, and of course, a member board of trustees of Electoral College Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin is joining us from Kogi, and I want to believe that the signal is becoming better for him to speak. Mr. Kevin, yeah, you still have the floor.
Okay, so by the time we have that unit of analysis, all pushing out information which that's to your basic civic duties, and then we have our schools also playing their role in teaching social studies or civic studies, whatever name they call it these days. It helps. And then when you go into the secondary schools, you have them teaching government and history. All of this is a whole potpourri to making the cuisine or the meal right. So all of this works in consonance. And so the moment there's a dysfunction or dissonance, as the case may be, between these 5 subjects and the early age option, voter apathy has now been sown as seeds in the environment. And then when people begin to behave as they want to behave, it will no longer be news because this is what caused the actions that they are taking, or this is what fuels the actions.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. This is quite robust and interesting. You've talked about, in fact, this alone will address this last aspect of your conversation. Talking about catching them young, addressed the issue of voter apathy. But then, the problem is, do political parties in Nigeria have ideologies? For instance, the leading political parties in Nigeria, what are their ideologies? Don't you think this lack of ideology, would somehow today you will hear people, I'm not voting for APC since they came into this, they did it. And then I will not even vote for PDP. You know, they've been in power, they were in power for 16 years or so number of years, and they did not do this for Nigerians and all of those thoughts, you know. And even the recent parties that are coming on board, people do not really get to know about their ideology. So don't you think this also affects the engagement of people, the involvement of people towards elections? Hello, Mr. K. The signal in Lokoja seems to be quite poor today, but it's been a quite engaging session here with Mr. Kevin Koje, all the way from Lokoja, Kogi State. Mr. Kevin, did you get my question on political parties and lack of the ideologies?
Yes, I did. So, in fairness to political parties, they have actually done their job. So, luckily for me, in my journey into active political participation, grew up from joining a group of persons, and we registered the political party, the Alliance for New Nigeria. You know, and if you look at the procedures for registration of a political party by the election management body, that's INEC, you must state in clear terms what your party stands for. So, in all honesty, theoretically and by submission, every party has an ideology, because you must submit one that will be vetted by the election management body before you are given the license to practice, or before your political party is sanctioned to practice. So they have, in all honesty. The next question is, ask yourself, what is it in practice?
So that means the problem is in the implementation of those ideologies.
Yes, in practice. You know, that is why, in as much as you have a right to stand tall and say, for presidency, I'm voting X person in this party, for House of Rep, I'm voting this person in another party, for state, I'm voting this person in another party. It's your right, no doubt. But in the firm case, as it's supposed to be, like as it is in the Western world, if you're a Democrat, you're a Democrat. If you're a Republican, you're a Republican. And you don't care what name appears on the lot, you vote. You understand? So, but in Nigeria now, because the practice of these ideologies are not firm, you see individuals having to deal with, I'm not voting party, I'm voting individual, I'm voting character. And so that further subdivides the vote cast. And so if me running for an office now, sit down and look at my population and I say, okay, in this 100% population for Kogi Senatorial District, 70% are all going to run and follow my party. But I have, I do not have credible behavior, or let's say my character is questionable. You see, individuals might tend to sift away from my own team or from what I think I have gathered. And when the election results come out, we see a different thing altogether. You know, so that's the challenge. But I can tell you that all parties in Nigeria have ideology. The challenge we have is the practice. And the practice can only come and stand firm if the political parties put their feet down and ensure that the individuals that come out of their processes, which is expression of interest, you become an aspirant, the primaries come, you become a candidate, and the candidates are taught and indoctrinated on the ideals of the political party. That is when to be practiced. But unfortunately for us, many times we find out that we are practicing monetics and not politics. And so, because I have a lot of money, I come, I buy my seats, I pay for the patronage of the party chairman and the entire National Executive Council, you know, and so they are in my pocket. And so when I'm here now and I'm speaking anything I want to speak, they will not talk. And even if I say I want to cross carpet 2 minutes to the election, I will cross carpet without them saying anything, because I've paid them before, and now I'm going to pay another set of people. So let the money go around. You know, so it's not an unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria, but what will we do? We still have to move, and we still need to ensure that
move. Mr. Kevin, if I allow you to do on this, I think you have a whole lot to say about it. You know, you're talking about not playing politics but politics. You know, that has to remind me the poser question the question I posed to you sometime earlier. You know, talking about how they are protesting for the financial policy, the new financial policy, when we had other pressing issues. Currently, Nigeria petrol goes for as much as 350, some places 500. And there's been no protest. But when the financial policy came in, because of money, politics rather, we've seen protests and court cases from different quarters. We've spent about 33 minutes on this engagement, and it's supposed to last for about 30 minutes. But I sincerely apologize for taking your time more than I had budgeted for. But I would like to thank you sincerely, Mr. Kevin, and it's been a wonderful session. But I will not let you go until you answer just two questions. As a young person and someone who has been on the ballot before, and sir, youth carries with the recent release by INEC, youth carry the majority of registered voters in Nigeria at the moment. And so, what are you expecting from the youth come Saturday and the 11th of March? What's your word? What are you expecting from them? And what should we say the youth would do? Talking from the youth constituency now.
Okay, so this is the challenge. Let's start from understanding the basic life scenarios of individuals in the 36 states of Nigeria. Youth will occupy the largest number. What number of those people are politically literate? That's one. What is the distribution of resources in all 712 local governments? Because whether elected or not, political economy, I don't want to go into that part of the conversation. Economics determine politics, and politics determine economy. The economic state of an individual can make or mar his political thinking, whether we like it or not. And so if an individual is in a state wherein he has not eaten for the past 2 days, he has not had access to cash in the past 5 days, and somebody walks nicely to him, albeit illegal, and offers him 200 naira old notes, already I've already skewed his political thinking, because they're telling him, I'll give you 200 naira in favor of your vote. He knows what it takes for him to sell his or her vote. But at that time, he's not thinking with his senses, he's thinking with his stomach. And that's why they say, some people say, if you can sort the stomach infrastructure, a whole lot of things will be well with Nigeria, or a whole lot of things will go wrong with Nigeria. So those are the two things. If the youths are not politically literate and their economic distribution or standing is not balanced, there is going to be a problem. And so the only way we can cure and ensure that people work with their eyes transmitting 2020 and articulate well is if the government of the day can make the business, ease of doing businesses, a lot more easier as language pertains, such that an average man can wake up in the morning, as is in this Western world, go and offer himself a job or two, get paid by the hour, and he's armed with one or two things economically to finance a thing or two. Or the part of literacy, the different organs of government shadow the activities of educating people on their civic duties, albeit from the educational system to the national level, to the subnational, to the local level, everybody playing their roles, until all of these givings can be done effectively. We will not be able to have the youth bloc as a whole saying that we speak in one voice, because everybody is propelled by different scenarios.
Of course, and it's quite sad, because I had wanted asking you about what will happen, what you feel will be the outcome of Saturday's election as a result of this cash crunch. But I think in that particular response you've given, you've actually encapsulated that into your response. Thank you so very much, Mr. Kevin. But before we leave, finally, I want to throw this poser to you. We have three leading candidates. One of the PDP, the other of the APC, and the other of the Labour Party. On a scale of 1 to 10, place the three of them, sir.
I should rate them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for the job I do, we do not throw leading answers because of what we stand for. We tell you as it is, and we let you make your independent decision. So I will refrain from giving you statistics or tuning you in particular towards any candidate or the other. What I'll tell you for free is that these three candidates you mentioned, you call them leading based on your own parameters. But there are a whole lot of parameters that exist with regards to people knowing they are leading or not. But that is not an argument for today. So all the candidates that are on the ballot have played their words, and they have been deemed fit to appear on the ballot by the election management board. So for me, that has rated them all the same. What
Okay.
changes the perspective is how many votes they pull to the counter. So let us wait and see Beavers work. And with the results, we now go ahead and take our pick on who will be or who will hold the reins of power in Nigeria for the next 4 years, and then as normal 8 years, because that's what seems to be happening now.
That's a smart one, Mr. Kevin. Thank you so very much. And then on the note of finality, what will be your last words for Nigerians as we head to the polls on Saturday? On the note of finality.
Please, please, and please, if you are 18 years of age and you have your voter's card, please go out and vote. It's your civic duty. You owe it to yourself and to the generation yet unborn. Let us hold the reins of power and show them that we can actually come out to vote, and our votes will be heard and our voices will be heard, and we will choose who will determine our destiny in the years to come.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin. I've been having a fantastic moment here with Mr. Kevin Koje of SDG Radio Nigeria, and of course, one of the board of trustee member of Electoral College Nigeria. Kevin, sometime in 2019, contested to the Senate seat, or for the senatorial seat of Kogi East, and of course, he's been quite experienced. He's a climate reality leader, and of course, I'll call him how do I call it? A mediapreneur. He's been so much in the media space, and he's been doing a whole lot to say that he will leave the space, because he's not leaving quite anytime soon. He will leave the space much better than he met it. Thank you so very much, Mr. Kevin, for sparing your time to be on Society Watch today. We sincerely appreciate your effort, and we do not take this for granted. Thanks for sparing us your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Look forward to seeing you more.
Do have a great day, Mr. Kevin. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that's been the size of it today. I had as a guest today Mr. Kevin Koje from Kogi State, who is the bureau chief of SDG Radio. Kevin actually came to share his mind on strategies on how to avoid or reduce voter apathy. And of course, you know how critical it is this season we are in. And I must also thank you for sparing your time to be a part of this show today. This is Society Watch on EIN TV. And my name is Edion Senginen Dunobong. And I would like to say thank you once again for sparing your time to be a part of this show today. And please, I beg of you, please, on Saturday, go with your PVC to your polling unit. Vote the right candidate. Do not say your vote will not count. I want to assure you that your votes do count. If your vote does not count, they won't be paying you for it. So this will tell you that your vote counts. In fact, the mere fact that they are giving you money for the vote means your vote counts. So take the right stand this time around. Do not make the mistake we've been making over the years. Nigeria needs to stand on its foot, on its feet again. And a country over 60 years should be doing better. And you've seen other countries that are doing even well, countries that gained their independence about the same time with Nigeria, even some that Nigeria are quite older than in terms of when they gain independence, are doing quite better. The answer to this is simple: quality leadership, efficient, functional leadership. And that is what we want to achieve this time around as a country. So please, young people, old people, mama, papa, pikin, everybody, please go out on Saturday and exercise your civic right. It is your right. In America, if you do not vote and they get to realize, you may be sued by someone. I just got to realize that. So please, I may not have to sue you, but please on Saturday, go out there with your PVC and make sure you vote the right person. Do not vote your conscience. Please vote the right person. Thank you so very much for being on Society Watch today. This is EIN TV. My name is Edion Singing and Dunobo. Good night.